I'm Chris Principe from Financial IT, and I'm here in Beijing, China. First time ever, the Swift event of Sibos is in China. Really an exciting moment, big time. They're expecting big things here, and we're right at the beginning of the week. And to start us off for this week, I'm with my good friend Andy. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. Great to see you.
It really is. It's really nice to be able to see some old friends, and more importantly, let's hear a little bit about yourself and CGI and what you guys are doing.
Sure. So my name's Andy Schmidt. I'm the global industry lead for banking at CGI. CGI is over 90,000 people around the world, and our focus is on system integration, but also on an industry basis, various IP or products that we bring to market.
Oh, great. Didn't realize you guys had grown so much. That's really impressive. So a lot of the things that you guys are doing then are state of the art, looking to lead the industry. Let's talk for a little bit about AI and where you're working with that currently in CGI.
Sure. So AI is the hot topic in financial services today. And generative AI really sparked a new set of discussions about how can we use automation, how can we use artificial intelligence to help us make better decisions. And where we're seeing it really take root is in better personal recommendations. So to the end client, whether they're a retail banking client, a wealth client, or a corporate and transaction banking client. And what we're doing is that we've made a $1 billion investment in AI across the business, in terms of training, in terms of working it into our products, even in terms of our own Pulse AI offering, to raise the bar across CGI in terms of what AI can do.
So, I mean, that's a pretty broad remit, and just covering such a wide range. And correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like this is something that you can use internally at CGI to improve just your internal process.
Absolutely.
As well as for your bank customers and their clients.
Absolutely. I mean, whether it's our internal bid gen offering, which we're using to automate many of our RFP responses, or helping our clients with their own projects. AI is here to stay. It's really a matter of identifying the right use case and finding the right data. So this is a situation where data quality is of paramount importance, and with that, data governance. But being able to have quality data, being able to manage that data, enrich that data, is where a good AI journey truly starts. After that, it's understanding what's the use case and how does that tie back to the business.
So you go from an overall picture and then specifically look to bring it into something. You know, there's an interesting, I think, movement in the industry now, which is adaptive banking.
Yep.
And maybe you could speak a little bit of that for us.
Sure. So adaptive banking is really focused on a more customer-centric approach, and so it leverages data to take advantage of some of the behaviors that you're seeing in the marketplace to make a more personalized recommendation, more personalized opportunity for the customer. On the technology side, that also gives you much more flexibility. You can modernize in spots as opposed to having to modernize the entire stack. And by having that flexibility, by being able to grow with the client, be able to create offerings that are specific and valuable to the client, not just today, but next year, 10 years from now, you've got much more of an opportunity, greater opportunity to have that long-term customer relationship, and from a revenue standpoint, that long-term reliable revenue stream.
Which of course is important, especially when management has made $1 billion investment for you. You know, you need to turn that into something good, and you're well on the track for it. So, you know, CGI is a company that has some of the brightest and best banks as customers. Many of those customers have more than one product.
Yes.
So how do you start connecting these products with this new technology?
Sure. It's really following the customer journey and figuring out what the customer need is and how we can turn that into a business case, turn that into an outcome. You know, one of the key things about adaptive banking is that it has to be outcome driven. You have to understand where you're headed and what you're looking for. You know, as part of that, from an infrastructure benefit, you're making more consistent changes, more frequent changes, but they're more tweaks as opposed to wholesale, you know, big bang types of changes, so that you're course correcting as opposed to setting a brand new direction.
You know, it's interesting. It's with banks in particular. Of course, they're always a little reluctant when it comes to something new, although always interested. So, what are you finding are the things that are interesting for them, but more importantly, the things that they may actually want to start doing now?
Sure. I mean, as you know, friction is a huge problem in banking.
Yeah.
So whether it's a challenge with a payment, whether it's a challenge with onboarding, whether it's a challenge even in finding fraud and money laundering, reducing friction creates opportunity. And so leveraging AI to help understand, what are those data elements that I need to onboard more effectively? What are those threats that I'm seeing, and what patterns do I not see that are emerging that I need to react to? That's where we're seeing some of the biggest opportunities around AI. But also, just in terms of making lives better for customers like you and me, making sure that we've got the product recommendations that are appropriate for us and will ideally grow with us over time.
So I really like that part about you and me, because really for this technology to have its full benefit, it needs to go from internally at CGI to some of the great banks that you guys work with today, but ultimately to you and me.
Yes.
So what does that journey kind of look like?
Sure. It starts off with understanding what the customer journey is. And one of the things that we've done is we mapped out multiple customer journeys, whether it's buying a house, buying a car, engaging in trade finance, even picking your wealth portfolio. They're all items that we've mapped out to understand what does each step in the process look like, and just as importantly, where does CGI fit? And so as part of that, leveraging AI to find out how we can make that process smoother, faster, and more transparent is where we see a lot of the opportunity. So again, being able to, one particular use case, working with your wealth advisor to be able to say, hey, Chris has these specific goals. We know that you're in these products right now. Based off of what our model tells us, what else should we be talking to Chris about?
It's a great example, and I'm just kind of curious, where do you see the initial interest from the banks? Is it on the commercial side? Is it the lending portfolio? Is it the personal wealth? Is it the small-time customer?
It's all the above.
Okay, great.
So it's wherever improvement can be made, and one piece that I think is also important is business insight. Where's my business going? What do I actually need? And as you know, there are three pillars in banking that matter. It's creating revenue, reducing cost, mitigating risk. And so as long as it's aligned with at least one of those pillars, that's where we're seeing the projects really focusing on now. It is like I said earlier, more focused on processes that they're currently familiar with, that they're currently working on, because they can see the change, they can see the improvement. But over time, AI is going to be embedded in across the bank, whether it's a piece of simple automation, so like an API call, or the use of a generative AI model. And what you're most likely going to see is a mix. So you'll do the simple automation to pull the data. You'll have some more intelligent automation to create at least a picture, and then you'll have the generative on top of it to tell you what to do, to give you some recommendations based off of that. And so being able to understand what you would like to improve about the process, improve about the business, improve about your own decision making as a bank or any financial institution is where AI is really going to lead us, and that's really where the payoff is going to be.
Well, I think it's as you can see in the industry, that we're moving towards that payoff. So when we look going forward, you're a man of great experience in this business. You're in a position of really making a difference in the industry right now. Where do you see things going?
Yeah, I think it's really going to be in taking those lessons from the pilots, from the proofs of concept that we're working on now, and really delivering those at scale. So delivering it across the business or across a geography, and then figuring out where to go from there. This is going to be an iterative journey, and fine tuning what pieces of automation, what pieces of AI you use is going to be part and parcel with that. But over time, better decisions will be made faster with fewer mistakes and less rework. And I think that's a benefit for everyone. One concept that we've put out into the marketplace is payables and receivables, two systems that tend not to talk to each other. And in today's real-time payments world, especially all the conversations about using 20022 to drive interoperability here at Sibos, that focus creates an opportunity where if I receive a receivable paid early and I have a query go out to my ERP and into my payables, I can then determine, well, is there an opportunity for me to take advantage of trade terms? And if there is an opportunity to take advantage of trade terms, what's my risk? May I be in a situation where I need to borrow against my line of credit or not? Because again, with real-time payments, real-time liquidity is also essentially is an essential piece of it. So tying those pieces together in a time frame that just isn't possible from a human point of view is where we see a lot of the opportunity. And even in terms of this year's agenda, that focus on the corporate treasurer, in a real-time world where real-time payments and real-time liquidity are paramount importance, being able to take advantage of real-time opportunities is also key.
Well, I'd like to just lean on you for a little bit and move maybe a little bit away from business, but
sure.
with your view in AI, how do you see it affecting just the everyday person?
Sure. I think the opportunity that you're going to see is better decision making, more informed decision making, and to be able to take in. And we all have our biases, and we all have our blind spots. And so to have AI give us a more complete picture than what we might be able to create ourselves is where I see a lot of the value in the day to day, whether it is a banking product or insurance product or retail or what have you.
Well, Andy, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us. Best of success here at Sibos with CGI, but more importantly, best personal success.
Likewise.
You're going to be somebody important in the future when it comes to the bringing of these great new technologies out to not only your customers, but internally, but to the everyday man. Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Great to see you again.
Great. Chris Principe, Financial IT.